5 plus 24. What's up, guys? Joey here at the Campbell Project. It is on its way. We finally get to pour concrete within a week, and then we can start framing and building out this beautiful house. So what we're gonna go through is kind of what we've worked on so far to get to this point and how much we've spent so much on the budget. So we'll break those down for you on what we've done so far. First and foremost, first thing that we do, and I charge $2,500, is to put this barricade all the way around the house. You have to have these mandatory, especially if you have any open issues. You don't want a kid to hurt themselves coming into this project, and then you can get sued. So very important to put a fence around that, and that was $2,500. And then we get to the fun part where everybody's working. You can see right now we have our concrete guys. They are working on compacting, and they're about to put all of this gravel in here and compact it so that it can be ready to pour concrete. Actually, they're gonna do rebar right after that and then pour concrete. So they are working on moving all the dirt back now that we got all the plumbing installed already and the electrical underground. The city comes in, they checked all the water lines, we passed that plumbing inspection, and now the guys are coming in here, moving all the dirt around, and then once they get it all compacted, they're gonna start doing the rebar all the way through your new footers. So all of this is all new footers, they're footer boards. This is gonna be the full addition of this house, which it ends up being a quite large sense of about 3,000 square foot house that we're adding. It's gonna be beautiful, so stay tuned and you'll love it. A couple of additional things that we had to do is remove a little bit of concrete from areas that we had in here as well. So my guys had to come back here and remove a lot of this concrete. I think they need to get back here actually and remove the rest of this as well, just because this was the garage and it sloped this way, right? And now the new garage doors are actually gonna go on that side. So we actually have to come in. My concrete guy asked if to remove all of this just because it's sloping the wrong direction and we don't want any cracking and any issues to come back. So we're just gonna remove all this and just pour all a new slab. That's adding another $1,000 worth of demo, but my concrete guy is doing it for the same cost all the way through. He'd just rather do it right, and I completely agree with him. So these are two new garage doors, so everything needs to slope down and away from the house. If you ever go into your garage, you'll see that it comes in a slope exiting the house, so you can pour water and the water will run out, and usually all your footers on the edge keep you a little bit higher so none of your drywall or framing will get moisture from it. So really important that we do this right, and we always want to do it right by the client. So that's why I appreciate my subcontractor telling me that he recommends we just rip it out and just pour new, and we love that. So next was all of the cutting and installing of all of the sewer lines. We did all of this. That sewer line plumbing deposit was $18,000, and that's for them to come in here and start doing all their lines, moving the main water line. That's where the new meters go in on that back side of that wall, and that gets us going, and we passed that inspection just a couple of days ago. Now my guys can do all of their compacting is what they're doing. And what they do is they come in here, and what the city is looking for is that we have no leaks. So what my guys do is after they install these, they fill every tube up or every drain up with water up to a level, so when you touch it, it should retain water. And the inspector comes in here and makes sure there's no leaks anywhere else and make sure that everything's retaining water. And once that's passed, we're good to go to start compacting everything back into the dirt. We also wrap, you can see where there's gonna be concrete poured, we start wrapping those items so they don't get damaged from the concrete or any penetrations on our plumbing. They still have a couple more areas that they need to work on, but that's about it. Another thing is we have my electrician come in here and put his conduit lines wherever we need to put any underground electrical. So this is going to the island, so it was really important that we ran the conduit before we run the concrete. So that's that. The electrician also had to remove the wire lines from the back. The electrical deposit for us was $22,000 for them to start getting that going, and then they're going to order material, and that would be in the process of the project. The electrician really doesn't start until really the framing gets here. Another really important one, I highly recommend it for any kind of project that you do. You have to get termite treatment. The best time to do it is right before you pour concrete. So when these guys are done all compacting and adding the aggregate to it, and right before the day before they pour concrete, my termite company will come in here and spray and install their application to make sure we don't have treatment for anywhere from 3 to 5 years. I usually always recommend just spend the extra $500 or $750 to do the 5-year warranty. That way you don't have any termites. Termites are pretty prevalent here in Arizona, so you don't want to have those issues later on. Another thing that we did on this was interior design. We had the client do a $5,000 interior design renderings. She didn't do any elevations. It's just my interiors designs, thoughts of the space. And what I have to do with the cabinet company and myself and my team is start laying out elevations and how that's going to look. We're just trying to save the client a little bit of money. And since it's not a crazy detailed design, we can kind of do it in-house. That way we can reduce the cost of the interior design, which is just renderings at this point. And that was $5,000. The whole demo of the house, and that, like I said, I came in here, I did most of the demo. We rented an excavator and we removed all the entire house except a couple of walls. We removed all of the old pavers, any old driveway that was here. So there was a bunch of pavers out here. And that was $30,000 to do all of that demo. The next big portion, which is gonna be after concrete, is going to be building out the house and getting the framing done. That framing is $50,000 deposit for that framing, so we can frame out, and that will be the full build out of this beautiful 3,000 square foot house. Outside of that, I think that's pretty much it. Oh, maybe concrete. I think concrete for this entire house is $24,000. And again, that includes all the rebar. So they have to put rebar all the way through here with an epoxy. And then we have to get that a special inspection, meaning that a licensed architect or a licensed structural engineer has to come in here and make sure that we're using the right epoxy and that all the rebar was placed correctly. And you'll see that they'll pin every one of these. And the reason is so you don't have settling of the house. It really helps keep the house nice and tight, since we did remove quite a bit of concrete. Like I said, I think that's going to get us started. I think we're about $152,000 so far on all the deposits, and it's about a $900,000 project roughly to build this house out, give or take. Doesn't include landscaping, that is just your framework. So we're 150 grand into it so far, and we got about another 6 to 9 months, depending on how material goes, to finish this out. We'll try to make it as quickly as possible. Once we get into framing, it moves quickly, and that's all we got to do, is just wait for it. So stay tuned. Take it easy, guys.